the rise and fall of Solomon in 3 minutes. So in First Kings, we begin the reign of Solomon. Solomon begins so well. He has this dream and God asks him what he wants. He says wisdom and God blesses him for his wise choice. He builds the very temple of God, the great temple, unequal in beauty and splendor. Further, he has character. 1 Kings 3:3. Solomon loved the Lord, walking in the statutes of David his father. He reigns over a period of prosperity and blessing over the United Kingdom of Israel. And at the height of its power and prestige, he wrote the very inspired words of the Song of Solomon and most of the book of Proverbs. And yet, sadly, it all comes crashing down at the end. You see, his weakness was women. He had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. Specifically, these were foreign women that God had commanded not to marry, women who worshiped other gods. And all these women he surrounded himself with turned his heart away from God. Solomon clung to these in love. If hate doesn't get you, sometimes love will. He fell so far as to build altars for these false gods. Then Solomon built a high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, and for Moloch, the abomination of the Ammonites, on the mountain east of Jerusalem. For this reason, his failure, the kingdom is torn in two, which is the first step on its long descent into destruction and exile. But where did it all go wrong? Surprisingly, this isn't a story of someone who started out so well and then failed at the end. But the seeds of his destruction, namely sworn wives, were present right from the first days of his kingship. Solomon made a marriage alliance with Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Solomon's wives would eventually turn his heart because he chose to surround himself with those who were committed to another god. And it all began while he still loved the Lord. Now, today, we have a choice to surround ourselves with influences that will either bring us in the right direction or influences to the wrong. Now, these could be your friends, but also your social media and the shows that you watch on Netflix. Following God can be easy when we're surrounded by godly influences carrying us along, but impossible when we're swimming upstream against the flow of the world. Solomon himself gave the best advice. Proverbs 13:20. Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. Solomon did not take his own advice, but you should.